everybody, welcome to a 20-something's kitchen. So before we get started, I'm just going to put out the warning. If you don't like green onions, if you don't like spinach, if you don't like tomatoes, and you don't like mushrooms, you might want to stop watching the video now because we are making a fully loaded veggie quiche. I mean, you can always make your own with sausage and ham and bacon or whatever else you want, but we're going to leave the meat at the door and bring on the veggies. So let's get started. Like I said, we have green onions or scallions. P.S. If you're at the grocery store and you only see the word scallions and they look like this, it's the same thing as a green onion. They're the same, one and the same. Tomatoes, mushrooms, and spinach. And then this is actually going to be a dairy-free quiche. So I'm using a cashew milk instead of regular milk, and I'm actually eliminating any cheese that would be in this quiche. So to get started, I'm actually going to cut up my scallions, green onions here. What I'm going to do is use more of the bottom part here because I think this has more flavors. Some people might argue that the top has more flavors. Whatever you like, do whatever you wish. I'm going to use right down here. I'm going to use about half a cup, so it's just about my handful here. I'm going to sprinkle them around the bottom of my pie crust. Actually, one thing you should do with your pie crust is make little holes with a fork at the bottom. We just don't want that pie crust bubbling up while it's baking. Let it breathe a little bit. All right, now it's time to make it rain with the green onions. And you'll find that this dish is actually very easy because it's just putting everything you want into the pie crust and then just topping it with the eggs and you're good to go. So we'll move these aside and then we'll bring over our tomatoes and mushrooms and just start cutting those up into bite-sized pieces. And you can use as much or as little as you'd like of any of these veggies. This is kind of my way to get veggies into a meal. I'm actually just going to do a couple tomatoes throughout because once the quiche is done, I'm just going to chop these up and top them off that way. You can do the same with the green onions too. If you're a huge green onion fan, you can put the green onions after everything's been baked off, kind of as a decorative topping to your quiche. Wonderful. So you have those starting veggies here, and then we're going to add a couple leaves of spinach to that. And then salt and pepper. All right, so set your veggies and pie crust aside, your cutting board as well. Start with about 4 eggs, and then we'll see if I need more, if I need less. I'm actually going to eyeball it as I'm pouring it in, because you do want to be conscious that the egg is going to grow while it's in the oven. You don't want to fill it to the brim in this stage because you might have an overflowing quiche. Though it'd be delicious, not fun to clean out of the oven. My hands a quick wash here. So we'll just go ahead and pour a little bit of our cashew milk in here. Maybe about a tablespoon to begin with. A little bit more. And then this is where the fun part comes in, so the seasoning. I like mine a little spicy, so we're going to have some chili flakes, blackened seasoning, a lot of pepper, and then actually a couple dashes of Tabasco. And you can, like, when it comes to seasoning, it's all about eyeballing, and everybody likes their seasoning differently, right? Some people like it super salty, some people like it super spicy, so it's really to your preference, but those are what I'm putting into the egg mixture. And then one last whisk. That is folded in beautifully together, and what I'm actually going to do is take a couple more spinach leaves and let them meet the eggs. It's like VIP. They get to see it first, and then the rest of the veggies get to check it out. And just coat them with the egg mixture. Do a couple more. I really like to pack this with spinach as much as I can basically push. I am the kind of person where, yeah, you know what? If it's spinach, I'll eat it. But if it's too much spinach, I won't eat it. So there's a very fine line for me. So it's just going to look like this for you, as you can somewhat see. Just bring this in front. And like I said, we might actually have to add more eggs. I'd rather add or create a little mixture of less than more and have it not go to waste. So we'll see here. Just pour it in evenly. And I actually might add maybe 2 more eggs to this. So I'll go ahead and whip those up. And like I said before, just enough to coat everything. We do not want this to overflow in the oven. It's probably 1 egg's worth that I got in there. Make sure everyone's coated. You'll have some spinach leaves sticking out, which is kind of cool to look awesome when it's done baking. And then we'll just top it off with some more pepper. And a little bit of salt. Okay, so our quiche is ready to be put into the oven. It's going to go in at 425 for about 15 minutes. We'll remove it, check it out, knock down the temperature to 350, and then we'll leave it in there for about 30 to 40 minutes. You're going to have to eyeball it, and it really depends on how you prefer your eggs. I like mine a little more well done, so totally up to you, but I would suggest that it's in there for that 25 to 30 minutes. If you want to do it beyond, that's up to you. If not, more power to you. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first half of baking this quiche. So the quiche is complete. I've let it sit on the counter for about 10 minutes to let it set, and I've cut out a piece to show you guys what it looks like on the inside here. So I'll show you this. And then we have the pie as well. So as you can see, we have our spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, and those green onions. So those are right in there, making a gorgeous colored quiche. And I just topped it off with a couple of green onions and tomatoes and some hot sauce. So it's time for me to get into this and for you guys to enjoy. Thanks for watching.